Good evening and welcome to the Stanley County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for November the 5th, 2012. This election eve for our country and our state and our local races. We appreciate you being here, and we'd like to call this meeting to order, and I'd like to call on Commissioner Dennis for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing I would like to say, I'm glad to see Commissioner McIntyre back tonight doing well as he is. Let us pray. Dear Lord, be with us as we gather to consider the issues relevant to all citizens of this county. Help us to make the decisions that will benefit them now and in the years to come. May we see the issues clearly and have the courage to do the right thing, although it could be hard at times. Be with our troops abroad, protect and inspire them. Be with the national and world leaders. Help them to secure peace. May your will be done in all things. Amen.
I'll at this time entertain any kind of motion concerning our agenda, either an approval as is or adjustments.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner McIntyre and a second by Commissioner Dennis to approve the agenda as it's presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will move forward with our agenda items. And the first agenda item is concerning a land conservation request at the Fork Farm, the Fork LLC. And we have a presenter tonight, Jim Cogdill. And Mr. Cogdill, if you'll come forward. And we've been having some issue, I'll tell you, with our microphone, making sure that people can hear. So speak directly into the microphone so we can make sure that we can hear what you have to say.
Well, some of you know me, and I don't think I have a problem hearing me. Don't laugh, Mr. Commissioner Dennis. I want to thank you, sir, and thank you, commissioners, for allowing myself to, and my wife, Ms. Bernadette, here. In 1999, approximately on December the 29th, I was lucky to acquire the confluence of the two rivers of the Rocky and the PD of approximately 1,100 acres at that time. And through the help of the Uwharrie Capital and others who had protected that property from, it was bought out of foreclosure and protected, and later it was wanted to be protected long-term rather than being a particular fallow land that could be a waste dump or something that people were looking at it from out of states. I needed to find a piece of property with contiguous boundaries that I could bring to something that I've had a passion at my age of 71 to celebrate the children's education and wildlife habitat, agriculture, and to understand the open space effect of what wildlife has on children's education, to get them out of the room of computers and crackberries and etc. So I started a journey in '99, December the 29th, and I acquired the property. And from that time I met local citizens who assisted me, one which Mr. Tony Dennis did, along with Ms. Louder did back in the days that we were bringing the property. And we are equestrian enthusiasts, and we brought to Stanley County over a period of time a World Equestrian Games. And would believe it or not, Norwood, North Carolina was broadcast more in Stanley County in Europe, in France, Germany, Belgium, England, Scotland, and Ireland, over the webcast that we sent from the Fork property back, that we couldn't get Charlotte Television, I hope they're here tonight, to come out, and unless we paid them for a commercial, to film something that all of the major Olympics for the last period of time that we've owned the property since '99 have ridden through our farm. The selection team that was picked to go to Beijing was picked sitting in the middle of a 110-degree index of heat, because it was compared to have a trial selection there because of our hot weather, because it went to Hong Kong, and then Hong Kong's weather was identical to Stanley County's weather, so we were picked. And then subsequently, every year since, we run, there are 4 3-stars in the United States, and we run one. The highest level event in the United States is a 4-star. There's one. We're one of 4. And the spectators of a couple thousand people come through with no admission charge to sit on the land during the day, picnic, etc., to participate in that event. That event has grown to a point where during one opening we had 16 Olympic medal winners sitting at the confluence of the PD River and trying to get other political people to come look and see what we're doing to try to promote equestrian. We like the part of coming to visit and then leave, but bring in your money, and the economic impact was very positive to our community. I have elected at the time I acquired the property to place the property in a conservation easement at my death. Since I just had a right hip replaced 3 weeks ago today, and as I age, I thought it would be best time to start the journey now to get this done. So we're in the process for the last 4 or 5 months working on the conservation easement to protect the property from development. Now, that is not a negative, because the amount of children that we see come through the farm and the amount of the public that sit in the bed and breakfast at the farm and the amount of people that walk our 38 miles of trails and the people that fish out our river and canoe down to Wadesboro to Bridge 109, you cannot repeat, and you cannot see it unless you're there to enjoy it and understand the fun they have. So when I step before you tonight, I ask, would you support me in the conservation easement and giving me a resolution that supports it by the county commissioners? I'd like to read it to you if that's okay, sir, or Mr. Chairman. Whereas the Fork LLC, and that is the entity that the property is in, owns a tract of real property consisting of approximately 15 plus or minus acres. That moves because the thread of the river moves, so we're having to resurvey it. Land located at the end of the Fork Road, and we are at the end of the Fork Road. Our telephone line comes right down in the ditch, right all the way to the end of the Fork Road in Stanley County. Whereas the property current embodies the state policy of promoting the production and utilization of product of soil as essential to the health and welfare of the people of North Carolina. And obviously with our water issue, just to pause a minute, I elected to bring the water line all the way down from Norwood to the Fork property with assistance of the Rural Society and a grant I made to you as a body back almost 8, 9 years ago to pay for $500,000 worth of water lines to get down to the property. And promote a sound prosperity, agricultural, and rural life is indispensable to the maintenance of maximum property. Whereas the property contains riparian buffers, my God, where do you have 2 rivers that come to a confluence and called a fork? At the PD and Rocky River, 1 river on either side, and protects and conserves clean surface water and contains open space, limit to pollution of the county's air, water, and limit excess noise. And you might like to know that we've had environmentalists look at our streams, and there's pushing 100 miles of what we call dry stream beds that we're looking at to assist the water runoff and the restoration. Whereas the property provides an agricultural and economic benefit to the city, to the citizens of Stanley County, and the preservation of the property would protect and promote the health and safety and general welfare of the citizens of Stanley. Whereas conserving the property to limit the development of the property would benefit the citizens of Stanley, and whereas each commissioner desires to execute this resolution to the evidence that unanimously approved the commission for the conservation of the property is beneficial to the citizens of Stanley County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the commissioners hereby approve of conserving the property by limited development because it allowed for the continued benefit of the citizens of Stanley County. And then go on about the procedures to sign. I don't need to read that. If nobody really understands the easement, understands the process, I'll be here to talk about it. I beg that you consider this resolution for the citizens of the property.
Thank you so much for being here and for this. I would ask commissioners if any of you have any questions or comments.
I don't have a question, but Jim, I've been probably one of the first ones to come down and start with you in the mobile home or the utility trailer we had down there a long, long time ago. That's when my oldest grandson was a small kid, duck hunting. That's where I met Jim at the first time, and it's come a long way, Jim, and I'm personally proud of your farm down there. It's a really good asset to our county, and we just need to make better use of it, and it's just a beautiful facility. You did finally get you a good wife, too, so yeah. Maybe she can take care of you.
Well, she's about tired of taking me living in a box somewhere. I have to sleep in my office because I can't get in my bed. And so she's been nursing me for 3 weeks, and she's about ready for me to get off this hip, and I can't yet. Any other questions?
Any other questions or comments? I would also echo Mr. Dennis's comments. It is a beautiful place. It's an asset to our county. A lot of people in the county as well as outside the county don't know enough about it yet, but we certainly want to do all that we can, and I know our economic development folks and our tourism folks have worked well with you, and you've worked well with us, and we do appreciate that, and we certainly want to get this information out and let people know what a jewel and a gem we have here. Commissioners, I'd entertain a motion at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution presented by Mr. Cogdill tonight.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Dennis, a second by Commissioner Louder. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your generosity in supporting me during the years. I'm a citizen of Stanley County, and that comes a long way in the years I've been here. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. And good luck with the hip.
Well, yeah. Good luck to you.
Second item on our agenda tonight is a request to request approval to fill a vacant social worker 2 position, and our presenter is Sharon Scott, who is our DSS director.
Hello. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm here to ask you to allow our department to fill a social worker 2 position that is currently vacant. Good news is that I'm not here to ask for any additional money, so that's the good thing. When we submitted the budget last spring, we had a vacancy in the area of Work First and child care, and the state was giving us our estimates and telling us to expect a 20% decrease in our Work First block grant funds, which is what was funding a good portion of this position. So since we had the vacancy and we didn't know what our funds were going to be for the coming year, we budgeted and suggested that we leave that position vacant until next spring, when thinking that we would know for sure what kind of money we had and whether or not we could fill it at all even. And so we only put 3 months of salary in for that position to fill it effective April 1st. Well, fortunately, we received some news in the last couple of weeks saying that we were going to get back most of that money that they had told us we would probably lose. And so, therefore, we feel like we have the money to fill that position without causing any additional cost to the county. I put in the information that was sent to you that we were going to receive an additional $80,036, and that is not right. We're only going to receive $79,856, which is $180 less, but we transposed some numbers in our figuring, and that's what accounted for the difference. But we would like to take $14,219 of this funding to go ahead and fill our position. That, with the money we had budgeted for the 3 months, along with the extra child care money we have, will take care of the position salary and not be of any additional expense. So we felt like it was better to not fill the position when we were doing the budget, to try to save money if we needed to, instead of having to look at cutting a position later. But fortunately, we were able to receive extra funding, so we would like to go ahead. This position's been vacant, and it's been a real burden on our staff. They've been trying to shoulder some of the position alone, and so it would really be helpful to our department. So I request your permission to allow us to go ahead and fill the position effective December the 1st.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. We both appreciate your initial conservative actions and looking into the budget year, and are happy that you are able to have these funds now to consider this. Are there any questions or comments from commissioners?
I will say that I do sit on that board occasionally. I've missed a few meetings, but they really do a good job of picking up the slack when they have vacancies, and it's a tough job, and it puts a burden on them. So I will make a motion that we approve this.
We have a motion to approve filling this vacant position in the Department of Social Services. Motion has been made by Commissioner McIntyre, a second by Commissioner Dennis. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, third item on our agenda is to consider appointments to the Community Oversight Board for Cardinal Innovations Healthcare Solutions. And our presenter for this item is our County Manager, Andy Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. This item we brought before you before, and we've been working to identify some more information about a commissioner designee, and we're still working on that part of it. And we've also just recently are beginning to, within the last week or two, beginning to see some interest from folks in the community as the folks at Cardinal Innovations Healthcare Solutions have begun to put the word out and actively recruit. So at this point in time, we don't believe we've necessarily gotten all the applicants that we anticipate, and but we do have a couple in the packet. One of those individuals previously served on the Piedmont Behavioral Health Care Board, and this individual would help to meet one of the criteria of a family member with a person with mental illness, addiction, or intellectual development disabilities. And so that individual is also in your packet this evening for your consideration. And this individual has shown great interest in serving on this board and also has experience on the previous Piedmont Behavioral Health Board. So although staff is still incomplete with respect to all of the appointments to this, and while we do believe, because we've seen some applications trickle in, that there may be some additional ones, the family member one, and given that individual's experience, may be one that the board could take action on this evening. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Thank you, Andy. Any comments or questions from commissioners?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
When I served on the Piedmont Behavioral Health Board, and during the organization period last summer, Dale Poplin came up to me and requested to be reappointed at that time. And he still wants to be appointed to the Oversight Board. And like the county manager says, he does fit one of the slots in the resolution for serving on that board. So I'll make a motion that we appoint Dale Poplin to the Community Oversight Board for Stanley County.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Morton to appoint Dale Poplin as the family member of a person with mental illness, addiction, or intellectual developmental disabilities to the Cardinal Innovations Healthcare Solutions Oversight Board, and a second by Commissioner Louder. I would echo Commissioner Morton's comments that when I was also on the PPH board, Dale was served and attended meetings and worked hard and was diligent in his efforts there, and is someone who I think will do an outstanding job. Are there other comments or questions concerning the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? And so we will look forward to having Dale serve in this position. And Mr. Manager, I'm assuming you will bring back to us at a later date recommendations on how we might fill these other two slots.
Yes, sir. I would anticipate we either bringing it back in 2 weeks or at the board's first December meeting.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and I would entertain a motion concerning the consent agenda from the board.
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented by Commissioner Dennis with a second by Commissioner Louder. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? We will consider that complete. Is there anyone who would wish to address the board this evening? Seeing no one, we move to the area that for general comments and announcements, and I would start on my left this evening with Commissioner Morton.
I would like to reiterate what Commissioner Dennis said and welcome glad to see Commissioner McIntyre, Chipper, and attended the night's meeting. I have no other comments.
Commissioner McIntyre.
Just a point of personal privilege, if I could, I would just like to thank everyone for their prayers, the cards, the emails, and the texts. And I've tried to answer some of those emails, and there are quite a few of them, but I feel very humbled and honored that folks remember me. And I'm doing well, getting better every day, been getting out a little bit, and doctor says if I follow his orders, I'll be okay. So I'm doing what the doctor says. So it's great to be back. Thank you.
Commissioner Louder?
Yeah. Gene, welcome back. I'm glad to see you doing so well. And just another thing, and I wish that everybody will keep the victims of Sandy in their thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Commissioner Dennis?
Again, Mr. McIntyre, appreciate you having you back. And I'd like to remind everyone it's not too late to vote, Gene. We need to get the votes out, and everybody needs to exercise the privilege that we have to be able to vote in a free election. We need to honor that and keep doing it. Thank you.
And Gene, I would just echo what everyone else has said as well. We're glad to see you doing well. We're glad to have you up here, but more importantly, we're glad to see that you're recovering, and glad to hear, as you just said, that if we just follow the doctor's orders, you'll be just fine. So we're excited to hear that news, and look forward to being with you more often in the coming days, and I hope everything will go well. Mr. Manager, are any comments?
No comments other than to welcome Commissioner and Vice Chairman McIntyre back. I know I'm speaking on behalf of staff that we're thrilled that everything's on the mend, and that you're going to be back with us full and strong in no time.
County Attorney, do you have a comment?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I would entertain a motion at this time then for the commissioners to go into closed session to consult with the county attorney to discuss 401 water quality permit intervention and APGI's public records request lawsuit, and to discuss a real estate transaction in accordance with general statutes. Have a motion by Commissioner McIntyre, second by Commissioner Dennis. All in favor say aye. We are in closed session.